Because I cannot come up with a pretty picture for you here. I can come up with a picture that says you're going to drown. But this is very solvable, guys. This is why wealthy people figured this out a long time ago. First thing we need to do, okay, you guys are going to immediately go, oh, I need to address my costs. First thing you need to do is address your gross. Ask yourself, how many hours per week are you working? This answer is not the right answer. This answer is not the right answer. And this answer is not the right answer, okay? The right answer is this answer. You're making $72,000 a year gross. You make $6,000 a year, okay? I'm tired of hearing all you guys complain, well, Gary, you're rich and you can do this. Let's go back to basics, okay? My first job, when I was 27, I think I was making about 72 grand a year. So let's just go through, how do you invest in Bitcoin if you make $6,000 a month, 72 grand a year? You can apply this if you make $4,000 a month. If you only make $4,000 a month, you got to figure out how to change that, okay? You have to get that up. In fact, I would say that if you only make 72 grand a year, you have to figure out a way to make that up too. One thing I would do is, the first thing I would do is I would look at this number and I would ask yourself, you know, how long have you been stuck on this number, right? Or are you improving? Is this number going up, you know, or is it just flatlining? It doesn't mean that you cannot expect an employer to pay you more and more and more money every year, okay? Now, if your production's going up more and more every year, I'm sure any good employer will be happy to pay you based on your increases. But nonetheless, I want to, first thing you have to do on the $72,000, you got to figure out, how much debt do you have? Okay, I want you guys to all write, do you have any credit card debt, debit card debt, any long-term debt, any schooling debt, do you owe your mom money, okay? Then I want you to calculate what is that number and what is the interest rate. Now, you may have, you know, I owe $500 at 8%, and I owe $5,000 of American Express at 23%, and I owe $4,000 to my student thing, right? Student debt. That was stupid debt. And let's say that's 5%. Okay. So one thing we're not going to do is we're probably not going to get rid of this. Okay. Don't give away 5% money. Okay. If you can borrow money at 5%, I do not think that is a problem. But this is a huge problem. Okay. There is no sense in you going into Bitcoin with a 23% or 23%. Imagine this. You weigh 200 pounds, and we're going to add 23% of a weight around your fucking neck. Okay, so we're going to add 40 pounds around your neck, and you're going to go out in the ocean and swim. How long is it going to take you to go to the bottom, right? This is exactly what debt is. It is weighing you down unless it's very, very low. Okay, 5%, 3%. For instance, I borrowed money here at this house at 2.35. Okay, if I can't figure out a way to improve my money over 2.35, I have a problem. The 8% money, you know, it's questionable, okay? Like me, I don't have debt, okay? I don't like debt. I don't like debt above 5%. That's period. I do not like debt above 5%. Doesn't mean that I'm going to loan out money for 5 or 6 or 7%. I loan money at 15, 20, and I borrow at 5, okay? So making 72 grand a year. I have figured out what my debt is. I didn't say you had to do anything here. Okay. You're sitting here going, hey, how am I going to pay the 5 grand off? We got to look at this 5,000. Let's call it 5,500. Okay. So we have rent or mortgage. Okay. If you tell me that you own a house and you make $72,000 a year and you have a mortgage, I'm really going to be upset with you, okay? Someone with $72,000 a year does not own a house, even if your mom gave it to you. You own a liability to pay taxes and to keep that house with flood insurance and wind insurance and all kinds of different insurance. And then you get to mow the grass and fix the roof and do everything that something that degrades every year because of the environment and the, just the elements. Homes, and you can just go look at the Roman Colosseum in Italy, okay, the Colosseum in Italy. Homes start to get problems. They have water flooding, they require insurance, they require maintenance, they require all kinds of shit, right? And the other night, if you saw any of my videos, I was running around with my head chopped off trying to make sure that this big old house that I sit in didn't become a casket. So you're going to show your rent. You're making $72,000 a year. You're making $6,000 gross. I suspect that's going to be about you're going to have $1,800 in taxes. Probably. So you're going to have $4,200 a month to play with. Okay. Is that about right? I think that's probably about right. $4,200 a month. So my rent's going to be $1,200 probably. Okay. You're already running into problems because now you only have $3,000 left. You don't have a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, like, you need to sell the house if you have any wins in it whatsoever. If you have any gains in it, sell this house and go rent and take the equity and either buy Bitcoin. If your interest rate, however, if you tell me your interest rate is 2.35%, I'm going to tell you that perhaps you don't get rid of this mortgage, but what in fact you do is you lease out the house to someone else, okay? Because you have this 2.35 note and you charge them 12% for that money. Okay. So whatever you have in the house, all your appliances, all the upgrades, taking care of the house, mowing the house, the insurance, add 12% up to it. And that'll be a really good return. You will turn 2.35%. You will basically 6x your money because you're making 12% on the money. Now, you're having to manage someone, you're having to manage people, it's a headache, maybe it's not your core business. I got it, but this would be a great trade if you find yourself making $72,000 and you have a house with a really, really cheap note. A strategy would be to hold that and then to lease it and turn it into a business where you're making positive plus income. You start taking the delta between this 12% and what it costs you, plus the cost to maintain the house, insurance, and all that. And then you're going to have, let's say the house was worth 400 grand. You probably have you got an $8,000 note a year. You'll make some decent money on this house. Okay. You could probably make $800 a month. And then you take whatever excess US dollars you have. Okay. You run it through a DCA program, which I can tell you about, Arch Public, and you start buying Bitcoin. Okay. And that Bitcoin, that excess Bitcoin, because you were able to take the house, you leased it, you made more money on the money you had from the bank, from a prior mortgage, and you start buying Bitcoin and hopefully make 30 to 50% a year. So, okay, so what do we have? We have a $72,000 income stream. We have we have rent. Okay, we're going to get off that house thing. We have rent of, I'm going to say, $1,200 a month. We have a car. Okay, do you own a car? Nope. You lease a car. You pay a credit line on a car, but you don't really own it. Guys, I got to tell you, okay, $800 is too much when you're making $6,000. $800 a month net when you're making $6,000 gross is too much. Now, I like maybe you just need to go buy less of a cool car. I hate to tell you, but when you're only making this much money, you don't get to drive Ferraris. One of the things I like about Sam, how old is your car?
2016.
2016, 8-year-old car. He's 27 years old. That's exactly what he should be buying. I didn't want to see him drive up here with a Audi. I mean, it would be better for me. If I'm an employer, I love you in debt. If I'm an evil employer, I love you in debt even more, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you not to get into debt, but if you do, as an employer, I like it because I know you are going to be scared to leave. So, and don't think employers don't think that way. So you have a car for $800. I'm going to just tell you, that's a problem. That's a problem, okay? Because it's a lie also. You have $120 worth of insurance. What does your insurance cost you, Sam?
Oh, man.
See, he does 200. Oh, he's 200. So we're 920. Okay, Sam.
That's cheap in Florida.
Sam, what is 920 divided by 6,000? Okay, you guys starting to get the point here? This is 15%, dude. Every month. And by the way, this 6,000 is gross, and this 920 is net. You fuckers are spending $1,200 a month out of the 6,000 once you gross it up on taxes. $1,200 a month out of the $6,000. Literally a third of your income, 15% of your income is getting destroyed by something that you use only 4% of the time. That is the utilization of most vehicles. Mine would be far less than that. Rent for $1,200. I like rent. What does renting a house do? It makes you transient. Okay, you do not have to get stuck. If I go, hey man, I got this cool opportunity in Dubai, you want to go do it? You're like, I can go. So look, nobody cares if you rent or own. Nobody's ever walked up to my house, knocked on my door, and said, by the way, do you own or rent this? Not one girl that I've ever had a date with at a major fancy hotel has asked me, well, gosh, Gary, do you own the whole hotel, or do you just lease it one night at a time? So don't get caught up in thinking you got to own a house. Don't get caught up in thinking you got to own a fancy automobile. Nobody cares. And if they do, you shouldn't care about having them in your life. Okay. So what else we have? We have food, utilities. By the way, utilities and water. Okay, now you're going to say, hey, look, those are the same if I rent or if I buy. Yeah, they are. You still got to buy them, though, okay? So let's call this $400 a week, $1,600 a month for food. Sam, how much do you spend on food?
Oh, man. Yeah, easily $600 a month.
Yeah, the way he eats. So I got this at I'm going to call this $400 a week, $1,600 a month. Okay, we have $1,200, $800, $2,000. $2,000 plus $1,600 is $3,600, and then we have utilities, $3,800 already out of the $6,000. Okay, the $6,000, however, just you guys remember, this is a gross number. Okay, your employer is, or you, if it's a 1099, you're not getting all that $6,000. So already, okay, we're at 2/3. We have exhausted 2/3 of your gross pay before you buy Netflix or Starbucks. If you want to know why I go so hard on Starbucks and Netflix, they add no value to your life. You have never gotten a job at Starbucks. You've probably never met a girlfriend really at Starbucks. I mean, really ask yourself, what the fuck did you ever get from Starbucks except bad calories? Really, and a big old sugar load. $5, $6. How much those coffees cost me?
Your drink is like $6.
$6 a day. Okay, $6 a day. That's 7 days. That's 42 a week. 42 times 4 is $176. I mean, are you crazy? $178, dude. That's $1,700 that's $2,000 a year for coffee. And I see people in there every day, man. By the way, I think it's a lot more than $6. I think by the time you go in there and then you go, hey, give me a little bagel and a little frappuccino. And if you actually give a tip away, which you guys don't even probably do, it costs you gasoline to get there in the car you couldn't afford. Is there anything else? Like the time it took you. Okay, so remember, we only have rent, cars, food, and utilities in here. What don't we have? Maybe you guys can help me out because I think look like this should be terrifying you people. Okay.
Well, now everything's subscriptions, right? Your Netflix.
Yeah, well, that's why I want to hold a show one day and go through actually how you do a budget. So right now we're at $3,800 out of the $6,000 a month. Okay, that we're burning. Okay, now what else do we have, Sam? What other costs do you have? Cleaning, clothes. Would never know, by the way, you dress, by the way, to the office. Cleaning, clothes. We have entertainment. I mean, you guys do go out, want to have a date, right? What else do we have besides this? We have vacations. Okay, do you guys go on vacations? I got to tell you, okay, under the age of 45, I wouldn't go on vacation. I'd work. Like I didn't go on vacation, man. What I did was I did so much great business for my company. They didn't care if I grabbed a half a day in a hotel going to Japan and enjoyed my weekend in Japan, right? They were cool with that as long as I was producing a load. So like, I'm going to tell you where I'm going here. If you're only making 72 grand a year, I'm actually going through the list of things you can't play with. If you guys follow me, and I would like you to follow me because I think I can help you, and I think I can actually help a couple of people that are in your life if you actually tell them that this kind of data is available. So repost the space, do whatever you need to do to help other people. But you're not going to help other people if nobody knows about it. So the first thing is let people know about something. So I'm going through a list of things just like I do when I ask someone what they want. People come to me and they go, hey, help my son build his career. And the first exercise is, okay, well, what aren't you going to do? Like, tell me what you're not going to do. We're going to go through a list of you can't afford. Anything other than vacations. Gym, you'd be without your gym. How much does the gym cost now? $100 a month?
$20 a month.
20 a month. 20 per month. Okay. Does that include the steroids and the gym gear? And the supplements aren't included. But there are, if you're going to the gym like you got supplements too, right? So what's your real gym cost? See, you just did it. See how you lies? Everyone lies about what it costs to live. How much? 100? There you go. That's much more realistic. And I think that number's low. 100 a month. Okay. Vacations. How much you need a year? Well, see. This is the point though. That you're even looking around. All you should do is go, okay, hey, what do I pay? Like I know what you make, right? So like I'm like, vacations might be like the weak little thing here. Like I'm going to circle this one and go, hey, there's a period in time where really, like you can go on vacations. It just might be one that you can't spend $10,000 on. It might be, hey, I'm going to go camping with my buddies because that's all I can afford. Entertainment. Like how many movies do you go to a month? It costs me $100 every time I go take the kids to a movie, dude. 100 bones. You do no entertainment? Okay. What about like X and any of your
subscriptions?
Yeah. Well, your social fun entertainment subscriptions.
Drinking, going out.
Yeah. Okay. Drink entertainment. Yeah. How much is that? 500?
Yeah, easy.
Oh, easy. 1,000?
No, not more than that. Say 750.
750. Ooh. Okay, that's $9,000 a year, man. Clothes? What do you spend on clothes?
$2,000 a year.
$2,000 a year. That's $150 a month. Okay, so we got 900. We got 1,000. Okay, we are just guys. Look at this. Just with gyms, entertainment, and clothing. $1,000. 1,000. We are now at 4,800 out of the 6,000. And I'm going to say we're done. I'm going to say we're done. This is a gross number. You don't make all that money. This is a net number. Okay, like he had to make more than this to actually pay for this, right? You make 6,000, you end up with about $48,000 to $5,000. So, like, first thing we need to do. Okay, you guys are going to immediately go, oh, I need to address my costs. Now, first thing you need to do is address your gross or your net. Like, I only care about the net. That's absolutely all I care about. Do not care about my gross pay. I care about my net pay. I focus on this, and then I figure out what kind of life I want to live. Like, is this the life I want to live? Because, like, adding zeros here does not change anything. It's just adding zeros and upping your game. This is way too much gravity, guys. Like, it's so hard to get out of this gravity, right? You can't even get, like, you're going to be worried, oh, what's the fuel cost for the car that you can't afford? What's that cost
you? Easily $200 a month.
See, that's $200 a month. Can't do without that. Can't do without it because you know what? You got a car, and the car's not any good without any gasoline. So that's $200. So we're at now. Are you getting depressed yet? We're at $5,000, guys. Okay, $5,000, and we've done clothes, entertainment, vacations, gym, and fuel. And you know that's not it, right? That's just not it. You depressed yet? Huh? Are you? No, seriously. A little bit? Yeah. Yep. But this is very solvable, guys. This is why wealthy people figured this out a long time ago. Now, what are you going to do, right? Because as soon as I drew this up here, I was like, oh, I can just hear it. Everybody's going to go to their boss and go, hey, I want a raise, man. It's not your boss's fault. Like, he didn't create this problem, okay? That is not the way to solve the problem. First thing I would ask everyone to do that's making only this much money or less, I would like you to tell me how many hours per week you work. Really, really. I want you to take a diary. Diaries are awesome, by the way. Take a small little book, doesn't cost you anything. In fact, we should make some Cardone digital venture books and hand them out. I love books. I'd probably drive people crazy because I have books everywhere. Ask yourself, how many hours per week are you working? Okay, this answer, okay, is not the right answer. This answer is not the right answer. And this answer is not the right answer, okay? The right answer is this answer. I am not working enough hours, okay? Why? How do I know that? Because you ain't making enough money. I mean, it's just very simple, okay? And it's not that anyone's going to pay you just to show up for hours, but clearly the problem is you're not making enough money. If someone were to send you $72 million tomorrow and you're still not working any hours, you're going to be miserable, okay? Like, it's not going to solve your problems. I would maintain, actually, that most people, okay, here's another question to answer, actually, because I think that this is really the problem. The real problem is, how many people got angry at me when I asked this question, suggesting you're not working enough hours? First off, did you get angry at Gary? Okay, here's number two. Number two is you decided this was your value, the $72,000. Okay, you decided that when you chose the career. And look, if you're 27 like him and he's making 72 or more than 72, he's on a good path. Okay, he's 27, dude. Okay, now if he was 27, he's making 72 and he's got all these expenses and he doesn't know what's going on and he's not able to. We haven't even gotten to Bitcoin yet. Like, this guy's not buying Bitcoin. He's got too many expenses that he can't not afford to buy. So you work on these expenses, okay? Like here, when I'm 27 years old, dude, I double up with somebody, dude. I go rent for less than that. I don't like spend $1,200. I can't afford $1,200. The car, I drive a jalopy. Okay. The food's a problem. Okay. The food is an absolute problem. You're not going to not eat. The utilities and water, quite frankly, I don't think these are big issues. Okay. It's the extras. Okay. It's the so what did we say? So we still have to go through this. You're going to sit here and look at this and go, look, Gary, I have a job. I'm making 72 grand a year. I work 36 hours a week. That's what you're going to find, guys. You're not working 40. You're working 36 to 33. That's what's happened. It's just like the potato chips in the bags. Less potato chips, same price. So you guys have gotten an increase in your hourly rate through labor union strikes and whatever, and mainstream media telling everybody somebody needed to pay a minimum of 15. Talk about that going to come back to hurt you. When you're only working 36 hours a day, you're only making 72. You need another job. You need another source of income is going to be my suggestion, because the top line number, in other words, your income, really is the key driver to everything else that follows. My cost base should come after my income. I live according to how much money I make. And so the more money I make, gosh, the better I live, right? And this is simply down to, like, what am I saying? I'm saying you need a new source of income, a incremental. Let's not say no. You need another source, not a new and different one. Incremental dollars, right? You need incremental dollars. Or, which most people will not do, incremental risk. Now, this is the path that Gary chose. Instead of me working more hours or taking another job, I decided to just concentrate, stay in the field I was in, and become hyper focused and take a lot of risks. Like, hey, I want to move to London. I've been with a company for 2.5 years. A British company came in, bought part of our company. I'm nearly 600 people in the company. I said, hey, can I get that? I want to go do that. So I took massive risk on my career to do what? To change that number. That is what I was making, dude, when I went to London. And I would never see 72 grand again. Ever. In fact, $72,000 a year the first year was the cost of my apartment that the company paid for. So I got rid of all my expenses. Thanks, Bobby. I got rid of all my expenses here. I moved to London. All my expenses went to zero. I flattened my tax line. And I took a massive amount of risk, okay? But I didn't go get a second job. So you guys have two choices. You go come to a guy like me, go to a guy like Sam, whatever. You want to do some webinar work, some co-hosting work, whatever you want to do to get you into another little field to generate some more money and or take massive amounts of risk. When you are the age of a guy like Sam, okay, you guys don't take enough risk. You hear what I'm saying? I wish sometimes these things would be like, you get feedback, but you guys at your age do not take enough risk. You don't take enough risk. I don't understand why you guys don't take risk. You have nothing to lose. Nothing. Do you understand? Like when you're young, you should be taking massive risk. When you're 23 years old, you don't have anything to lose. I have a lot to lose. Okay, and this is what happens to older people. They make a bunch of money from highly focused, highly concentrated positions, and then they get nervous about it and they want to save all that money. They give it to an asset manager and they go, hey, manage my money because I kind of lost faith in myself. Like I've never done that. I just take my money and invest it in new opportunity, or like I'm comfortable with the risk. I'm not expecting a company to solve my problems. I have not actually shown you, if you're making $72,000 a year, how to save. I don't think you can. Like that is the point of this exercise. I don't think the numbers at $6,000 a month, okay, gives you enough extra oxygen to spend it anywhere. I mean, can you tell me how you can do that? So if I'm making this kind of money, first thing I do is I get rid of my credit card debt. Okay, I get rid of it all. Stop listening to Gary Cardone or Scott Melker or Billy Bob on Spaces. I quit showing up and listening to shit on YouTube and Spaces. And I got to figure out a way, man. Okay? One, handle this. I personally think you should handle this outside of your normal income stream. You solve this by solving it, okay? If you have a $10,000 note that you owe, dude, go get a freaking job on a weekend, charge somebody 10 grand, pay the damn bill off, and loosen the weight around your throat, okay? Just go out and get an emergency job, okay, and solve this problem. Just like the people in Tennessee are trying to solve a problem of, hey, get my dry right now, get it all dry, and I'm good to go, okay? So one, you handle your debt. Once that debt's gone, once that debt is gone, you have to then think, okay, well, I just made 10 grand. How do you create a new source of money, of income streams? How do you do that? I don't think there's any other way other than add hours of production. You have to write a book, draw a picture, make a painting, do something that gets you exchange, or go work for somebody and get paid for the time that you're giving those people. I don't know any other way to do it. But if you don't get to $120,000 a year, I do not know, guys. I do not know how you can ever get above the waterline. Okay, and if we just go through our example of earlier, you know, this is $10,000 a month gross. Okay, now I have $1,200 for rent. I have a $800 car, a $920 car payment. Let's call it what it really is. It's $2,000 with fuel. This is rent. This is fuel, car. 1,000. What else did we say we had? Insurance. We got all those other
food, entertainment, clothing.
Yeah. How much was all that? That was roughly call it $3,000. Okay, so we're at 6,200 out of the 10,000. See, then you can start to go, okay. Even then, man, you only have $2,800 to play with, and half of that's gone because of taxes. At least half of it's gone. This literally is your waterline thing. You're still treading water, man. You're still going to be doing this, okay? The difference is a guy like this starts looking at it and saying, shit, man, if I could add some hours, I add another 5. This guy only has to add $3,000 a month in extra work. Okay, check that out. He's making 120. He goes out and he says, man, I think I can make $3,000 a month. Do you think you could, if I said, dude, bro, I'll pay you $1 million if you can make $3,000 extra a month for the next 12 months? Do you think you could do that?
Yeah.
No brainer, right? Come on, man. It's just about, okay, I'm not going on a date, dude. I'm going to do something else. I make $36,000 a year at 27. Look, guys, I am not going to work 3-4 more hours for this. I don't have the energy he has or you have. I don't want to do it. Fuck, I don't have to do it. So, but I'm adding $36,000 to 120, man. It's a 25, 28% increase. All of a sudden now, All of that can go to Bitcoin. You see? All of that can go to Bitcoin, minus the taxes, right? This is what you have to do, okay? If you're on 72 grand, cut everything. Netflix, Starbucks, YouTube, cut it all, dude. Quit paying X. I mean, seriously, okay? And I hate saying that because I think that medium is awesome. Hire yourself a coach if you can afford one, which you can't, but find somebody. Read some books, dude. You don't have to hire a coach. I meet people that, oh, I gave $10,000 to that guy to be a coach. I'm like, well, how much do you make? 60. Seriously, you do not give $10,000 to somebody when you make 60. Okay. And then if you're giving money to people that tell you that they know what they're doing, look at their P&L first, please. Make sure they have a lot of money in the bank and they've really hammered success. Because I cannot come up with a pretty picture for you here. Okay, I cannot. I can come up with a picture that says you're going to drown. I can come up with a picture here at 120, you're going to be treading water. If you guys think you can live on this and live on this in the United States, let me know. I would love to debate you on it. You cannot live on this and help other people violently, okay? And not be worried every day, okay? Because we haven't even come up with, what happens if your girlfriend comes home and says, baby, I'm pregnant? What happens if your wife comes home and says, baby, I'm sick? What happens if your kid comes home and he's got stage 2 cancer and you can't work for the next 8 weeks, okay? And your boss is like, bro, we drive trucks. I can't not have you working. I'm sorry. Like, this is too thin, man. It's too thin. And it does not require you to be a doctor to make $120,000 or have a 8-year career. Okay, all you have to do is produce. I will pay anyone $50,000 a month today, 50 grand a month. I don't even care what your background is. You have to make 100 grand a month for me, right? Like, that seems. I'll give you half of it if you can make a bunch of money. So there are a lot of people out there that want to employ people that can produce. I definitely do not have a line of people on this property that are constantly producing more than they're taking. So this is what I would do. I would look at not my own problem. I would look at, okay, other people have exact same problems. I'm telling you, there's not enough great generators of ideas and revenues or executors out there. Therefore, guys like me who want to hire people like you are telling you, hey, we have a need, and you most certainly have a need, 72 grand. You have to get out of this, okay? You have to figure out a way to make this number explode. And if you're 27, I have no sympathy for you. If you're 47, I have no sympathy for you. I have more empathy for you at 47 because, dude, you need to get busy. The 47-year-old, and this is where it's so important on the 27-year-old. The 27-year-old should be very worried about the 47 and the 53-year-olds because, quite frankly, I would prefer to hire them. I would prefer to hire a 47-year-old over a 27-year-old, and the reason is the 47-year-old knows how hard this is. Okay, he really does. But you guys that are young, you're competing with so many people you don't even have any idea. You're literally competing with people that have more skills than you do. So when you come around with your attitude and you forget who's doing what, you might want to rethink the situation. But I think you're in for a tremendous amount of competition, and that is before AI hits you in the face. Because I have a feeling that I ain't gonna be paying $72,000 to anybody. I'm gonna hire AI for that. And why do I bring that up? Because I'm telling you, running out of time. I mean, the schools aren't going to tell you this. The motivational classes you go to get you all excited for 12 hours, you get a little dopamine. They recognize you. You pay a little extra. You go on you hang out with some cool cat for a little while, and then Monday morning, dude, you're in the same position. Motivation is, I can't motivate anyone. Okay? Can't do it. No one can motivate me. You're either passionate to live a great life or you're not. And most people who, the further you go down the water line, you either give up or you start fighting. So I think you're running out of time. I think AI is going to hit this. We're going to have 2.5 billion people make less than $2 a day. So, like, Americans, you guys cannot be like 2.4 billion people make less than $2 a day. That's scary. And there's another 4.5 billion that are under the poverty line. So having a bunch of sympathy isn't going to help anyone. And this is the core problem. You can't go to your employer and just go, hey, I need to double my salary tomorrow. It's not his problem. It is actually your problem. He has more options than he did yesterday. The funny thing is you have more problems also, but I'm going to just close with what I think was the most important thing I said today, which is you either need to take more risk or work more hours. If you're making, I would actually call it, if you're making less than, if you guys want to do a show one day on where I think the water line is, where, hey, what is that number that ensures that I'm skipping over the water? You know that when you go skiing or surfboarding, that there's this point when you have to go, you're struggling to get up out of the water, but as soon as you escape the gravity of the water, you're like hydroplaning, right? Exactly like a rocket when they burst through the atmosphere and they get into outer space, right? They've broken through gravity. You either take more risk. I'm very comfortable here because I'm probably a bit lazy, but this is the way I've addressed the problem. I've taken risk, and those risks have generated great wealth, or I could work more hours. Now, what I will tell you, because I'm kind of lying to you, I'm kind of deceiving you here, is this here always comes with more hours. It's just part of the deal. So these are really, really highly correlated. Cool thing is you can work more hours and not take more risk. But if you take more risk, you most certainly will work more hours. Unless you just, okay, I'm not talking about the kind of risk of here's $200,000 of my entire net worth and I'm going to put it on red 21. I'm talking about, hey, I want to take that job, or I'm going to go build something. So again, if you take more risk, there's been a lot of brilliant people that have left Wall Street, gone out and built their own thing, and they took more risk, and now look at Larry Fink, right? He was an outsider. He most certainly works more hours, but he's not an hourly worker. That's the other thing. I would get out of being an hourly worker. I would become a product, a producer, a creator of value, and you get paid for the value you create, whether it's in HR in a large organization, whether you're the CEO and you manage all the operating things and make the business just really hyper efficient. Whatever you do, you're the professional in the shop. So